This is News 4 San Antonio Today, the only local news station with nonstop news.
Good morning. Nonstop news starts right now. We are the only station that is commercial free all the way until the top of the hour. We have you covered this morning. You just heard from Jeannette, and she'll give us a deeper look at weather again in just a few minutes. But first, let's check in with traffic. Joy is off today. Let's see how traffic is shaping up. That crash at I-35 at New Laredo Highway still there. So if you are headed in that area, be aware of this crash. It's closed down a couple of lanes in that area. Again, this is at I-35. Here's another look at it. I-35 at New Laredo. Oh, this is a different one. I-35 at Leon Creek. Oh, it's the same crash. So just another look at this crash. Just be aware traffic is building up, so you may want to take an alternate route if you are moving again in that area of I-35 at New Laredo. Time now is 6:43. A clear alert canceled, a body found. Law enforcement believe it's most likely the body of 19-year-old Camila Mendoza Olmos. The body has yet to be formally identified. Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar says search crews found it just 10 minutes into their search Tuesday at the Burnin Bush Landscaping Company's property. That's a few hundred yards away from Camila's home. A gun was also found near that body. It was in an area that had already been searched by authorities.
At this point, we don't suspect foul play. As you all know, one of the possibilities that we were working under was the fear of self-harm. And at this point, there are some indicators that the body that we found may be as a result of that.
Again, a gun was found near the body, and some of Olmos's relatives are saying a gun is currently missing from their home. The sheriff says they have not yet confirmed if it's the same one investigators found at that scene. As for how the body could have been overlooked in the first round of searches, Sheriff Javier Salazar says the area had high grass, and search crews also had to abide by certain rules. For one, they couldn't go onto private property. Laura Whitmire of Search and Support also told us the area where the body was found could be accessed without a road, which could explain why cameras were not in that area.
Of course, nobody wants to believe that this could be the outcome. And she was always such a lovely young lady, always smiling, always bright, always pleasant, that if she had these deep issues, she hit it very well.
Sheriff Salazar told us Olmos was struggling at school, at work, and having a hard time with a recent breakup with her boyfriend. If you or someone you know is going through a hard time and are having suicidal thoughts, call the Suicide and Crisis Hotline at 988. Someone will take your call and refer you to the help that you need. Family and friends are calling for justice as they celebrated the life of Edward Trejo. Trejo was killed in the early morning hours of December 21st outside of a Christmas party on Cincinnati Avenue. Investigators say 41-year-old Paul Flores came from another street to make a noise complaint. After an argument turned physical, investigators say Flores shot Trejo multiple times. Trejo's mother says she still demands justice for her son's death.
It angers me because he was inside enjoying himself, being silly, singing. And for this man to come knocking and banging at the door, he didn't even live next door. He was walking around the neighborhood looking for trouble. So I want justice for my son. I want him to know who he killed.
Paul Flores is currently charged with murder. A man wanted out of New Braunfels for a shooting is no longer on the run. Carl McBride was caught and transferred to the Comal County Jail. He's accused of shooting a man near Katy Street in South New Braunfels on Sunday. The man was taken to the hospital. No word on what led up to that shooting. The teen accused of pepper spraying people on a Riverwalk boat will remain in custody. A judge ordered Cassidy Trevino to stay in jail. Her next hearing is scheduled for January 8th. The teen is facing charges of injury to a child, elderly or disabled, and a charge of assault causing bodily injury. The November incident was partially caught on camera and posted on TikTok, which went viral. Police say that video helped them identify the suspect. A Texas family whose home vanished or was washed away during the devastating Hill Country floods is getting the holiday gift of a lifetime. Ashley Willis and her family are getting nearly $100,000 to help rebuild their home. During the floods in the Sandy Creek area, her childhood home, her aunt's home, and her very own home were washed away. The organization Rebuild Sandy Creek is helping them get a head start in the next step forward.
There's too much gratitude. I don't understand. I'm actually honestly kind of still just in shock that Rebuild Sandy Creek has come through so handily and like just clutch too.
Willis says she's going to start the rebuilding process after the new year. Rebuild Sandy Creek says they'll continue trying to raise money to help more families get back on their feet. Time now is 6:48. We head into New Year's Eve with most champagne cheaper than a year ago. And construction jobs are booming in Texas. Jane King is live at the New York Stock Exchange with those stories and more. Good morning, Jane, and Happy New Year's Eve.
Hi, Lisa. Good morning. Happy New Year's Eve to you, too. And, you know, Texas had the highest increase of construction jobs in September, adding 4,300. Year over year, construction sector jobs in the U.S. also increased about 0.5% compared to September of 2024. Texas added 16,400 construction jobs this year, largest gain of any state. While the entertainment and media industries bled more than 17,000 jobs this year, that's left newsrooms, studios, and streaming giants hollowed out by consolidation, cost-cutting, and the accelerating use of artificial intelligence. Now, the job cuts in the media and entertainment business is 18% higher than it was in 2024. Well, champagne prices are down 12% globally as sales fall. Inventories of champagne are building as well. So champagne buyers in recent years have traded down to cheaper Prosecco and Cava to save money. And doctors are on edge over Medicare's new AI tool. Now, the change covers only 17 treatments or procedures in just a handful of states, but it does mark a major shift for a program that's historically required very little prior authorization. So starting tomorrow, doctors in Texas, as well as New Jersey, Ohio, Oklahoma, Arizona, and Washington will have to get approval before Medicare pays them for certain outpatient services and procedures. Well, stocks logged another losing day yesterday. Still, we're on track for a positive year. U.S. markets open for a full trading day today, but will be closed tomorrow for New Year's Day. Live from the New York Stock Exchange, I'm Jane King. Back to you, Marisa.
Jane, it's unbelievable that the champagne is not a lot of champagne. People are not drinking it as much anymore. Interesting. I find that very interesting.
I know. I got, well, you know, it was always kind of higher priced compared to Prosecco's and things like that. And, you know, Prosecco's are wonderful. So I just think people kind of traded down, especially during those inflationary years, and have stuck with it.
Well, Jane, I'll do my part tonight to put a dent in it. Happy New Year.
I will too, probably.
Thank you.
You too.
The Spurs are going to be shorthanded again tonight against the Knicks. Devin Vassell is out with a groin issue, and Stefan Castle is questionable with a banged-up thumb. The 8-game winning streak is over, and the Spurs have now lost 2 straight games in a row. Victor Wembanyama's minutes are increasing. He played well against Cleveland with 26 points and 14 rebounds, but the Spurs have lost their shooting touch and their mojo, apparently. But Wemby says, do not panic.
Have to handle the dynamics better, you know. Never get too high when we win, never get too low when we lose. We're not as good as everybody said we were after this last however many games, I don't know, before. And we're not as bad as we showed these last 2 games. But we can't waste some efforts with mistakes we can control like this.
Spurs and Knicks play here at the Ross Bank Center. Tip-off is at 6. You can catch the action right here on News 4 San Antonio.
Now your certified most accurate 4-zone weather with meteorologist Jeannette Calle.
And the weather is going to be nice for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day.
Yes. So this morning, cold, 30s in a lot of spots, but milder this afternoon, 60s. Chilly tonight because we're going to dip into the low 50s by about 10 o'clock in the evening. By midnight, upper 40s. And then we're talking highs in the 80s
for
by
New
the
Year's
end
Day.
of the week.
Yeah,
70s tomorrow, 80s Friday. Just crazy, but we'll see if it cools back down over the next 10 days. Speaking of New Year's Eve, here's a look at the forecast. So mostly clear skies. The wind, that will not be an issue. It is going to be pretty nice. Just make sure you have your jacket with you. Again, at midnight, 51, or by 10 o'clock tonight, I should say 51. By midnight, 48 degrees. Want to remind you that drought conditions are pretty bad across the area. Extreme drought over a large part of south central Texas. That includes Bexar County. And burn bans. We are still looking at burn bans that are in effect over much of the region as well. These are the counties in our viewing area under a current burn ban. So no burning of anything outside. Temperatures colder this morning, and this is how much colder it is compared to 24 hours ago. Almost 10 degrees colder in town, 14 degrees colder in Carrizo Springs and Cotulla, 16 in Hondo, and 14 degrees colder in Kerrville. Heavy jacket weather, coat weather this morning. Upper 20s in Kerrville, now in the upper 20s as well in Hondo. At the airport, it is currently 37, but some spots over far northern Bexar County, anywhere from Selma back towards Scenic Oaks, upper 20s to low 30s. Wind chill temperatures with the west-northwest wind right around 5 to 8 miles an hour right now. It does feel colder in some spots. For example, here in San Antonio, it feels like it is freezing. Feels like it's 32. Feels like it's 23 in Hondo. High pressure, there it is. It's centered across central Texas, and this is going to keep us dry. It's going to move off towards the east as it does. Winds flow clockwise around high pressure, and that's going to bring in some warmer air from the south starting today. Across the country, there is rain along the west coast. That's from south of San Francisco to LA. Most of that, again, right along the coast. There is snow downwind of the Great Lakes, but I don't see that it's as heavy as it was yesterday. We'll see sunny skies throughout the day today. Again, winds shifting to the south. We'll see highs climbing to the mid and upper 60s. Tomorrow morning and throughout the first day of 2026, we'll have some scattered high clouds across the area, but that's not going to stop temperatures from warming up tomorrow. We'll see low 70s in the afternoon. 10-day temperature trend, we're in the mid-80s Friday. Record for the day on Friday, 86 set back in 2006. A weak cold front then comes in, no rain with it. Highs still above normal, but we're talking mid to upper 70s. By late next week or the following weekend, we may see another cold front come in, and that could bring in another cool down. Here's your New Year's Eve forecast. So may make it down to 35 soon. This afternoon, 66. As I mentioned, very little to no rain. Slight rain chance next Wednesday. Until then, it is dry.
All right, Jeannette, thank you. Let's get another quick check of your roads. At 6:55 this morning, there is a crash we want to tell you about on I-35 southbound near New Laredo. Lanes are closed, so if you're headed in the area, be aware of the situation. I-35 has been shut down on the southwest side because of that rollover crash. Again, this is the southbound lanes of I-35 at New Laredo Highway. That's a live picture from TransGuide. We'll keep monitoring. And here's another angle of that crash. Now, it looks like, again, southbound lanes are closed. They're diverting traffic, so just be aware of that. The last episode of Stranger Things premieres tonight on Netflix and in select theaters. Rick Damigella reports.
We failed. We never stood a chance. This is not over. Not by a long shot.
Stranger Things comes to a close with a 2+ hour final episode.
Everything we have ever assumed about the Upside Down has been dead wrong.
The show's creators never imagined the series going this far.
We were just amazed that someone, I mean, in this case specifically Netflix, was letting us make the show. I mean, we were pretty young. We were 31. We had only had, really a failure under our belt. So, extremely green, inexperienced, with a bad track record. So it felt like a miracle that the show was getting made at all. So.
Help me find him. Kill him.
It was thrilling and almost overwhelming at first because it was hard to believe that it was real because it was very much driven by word of mouth, and it just sort of built and built and built and then snowballed. And then fear set in because we hadn't necessarily assumed this was going to be a long-running show, and the success meant that we needed to continue this over many years, and we didn't want to let our audience down that had loved these characters, loved season 1, and so quickly the excitement turned to fear and a little bit of panic.
I don't know what's on the other side of any of this. If we want to stand a chance of surviving, we need to be a team.
In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
I have not gotten into that show, but I know people who love it.
Yeah, David Chancellor being one of those. I know nothing about streaming.
Well, thanks for joining us.